we're going to carry on with our lesson that we finished with on Monday. So we're looking at functions and relationships. All right, so let's get going, everybody. Okay, so for this section, we've got some tables in front of us, and it says fill in the missing input and output values to complete the table. So they've said that the input is X, and we spoke about this last week, or on Monday and last week as well. We spoke about this. An input value is normally the X value, and the output value is the red one, where it is a Y value. Okay, so they've done it in green, and they've done it in red. So they've given us X values on the top, and my first X value is 0. So they want to know what is the output when the X value is 0. So what are we going to do? Well, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to write out what they gave us. They gave us y is equal to 2x minus 3. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go and put in the input value. So instead of seeing the x, we're going to see the 0. So we're going to say y is equal to 2. And what's missing there is sometimes in maths we get a little bit lazy and we don't put the times by. So 2 times by, instead of seeing x, we're going to see 0 minus 3. So if we do that, y is going to be equal to 2 times 0 gives me 0, and 0 minus 3 will leave me with negative 3. So my first output in my block is going to be negative 3. Okay. All right, so very similar to what we were doing when we were doing number patterns, except now instead of seeing N and TN and all those complicated letters, we're seeing X as an input and we're seeing Y as an output. All right, let's go try our next one. So this time, X is going to be equal to 1. So I'm going to have the exact same sum. But instead of x being equal to 0 this time, x is going to be equal to 1. So I'm going to have 2 times 1 is 2, and 2 minus 3, well, 2 minus 3 gives me negative 1. So in my block, I'm going to go say minus 1. Okay, let's carry on going. My next input for x is 2. So instead of seeing 1 this time, all right, I'm going to go, and for me, it's really easy. I can just rub it out, but you guys might need to rewrite it to help yourselves. So 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 minus 3 is going to give me 1. All right. For my next one, I've got 3. So 2 times 3 gives me 6, and 6 minus 3 will give me 3. All right, 3 more to go. Okay, 3 more to go. This time, x is going to be equal to 4. So 2 times 4 is 8, and 8 minus 3 will give me 5. All right, so that didn't seem so bad during the first 5 numbers, filling them in here. Okay, now what have they done? Now they've gone and they've changed a little bit. Okay, now they went and they changed a little bit. So now they've gone and they've said, they're saying, keep your equation. Your equation is still going to be the same. Y is equal to 2x minus 3. But instead of giving me the input value now what have they given me? They've given me the output value. Okay, so instead of giving me the values on the top, the inputs, they've gone and they've given me the outputs. And what do we know about the outputs? The outputs are equal to the y value. So instead of seeing the y value now, okay, instead of seeing the y value now, what am I going to do instead? I'm going to say 17 is equal to 2 times by x minus 3. Okay, so instead of them giving me the input value, now they gave me the output value. All right, let's go and try this sum out. So we can either say to ourselves, 2 times by what? Minus 3 gives me 17. So 2 times what? Minus 3 gives me 17. Okay, and so you can try and do it by elimination. So you can try and put some figures in there for yourselves and see what it works. So let's start with, I don't know, we finished off with 4. So maybe let's do 5. So let's say 2 times 5. 2 times 5 is 10. And 10 minus 3 will give me 7. So it's definitely not 5, hey? So we tried 5. 5 didn't work. Let's try do 7. 2 times 7 is 14. Okay, 2 times 7 is 14. And 14 minus 3 will give me 11. So that one definitely doesn't work either. Let's go a little bit bigger. Okay, let's go a little bit bigger. Let's try 10. 2 times 10 is 20. And 20 minus 3, ding, 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 ding. Does that give me 17? Yes, it does. So I'm going to say 10 on the top. All right. So that time we did it by elimination. Okay. That time we did it by elimination. All right. Let's do the next one. And then I'm going to give you a chance to try by yourself while I take some questions. So they've given me the input figure again. Okay, they've told me that my x value this time is 20. So I'm going to say y is equal to 2 times by 20 minus 3. 2 times 20 gives me 60. And 60 minus 3 gives me 57. Oh, I'm so sorry. You guys are completely right. Have I done something wrong? I'm seeing there. Wait, ma'am. Yes, absolutely. I'm just testing to see if you're awake. I'm just testing to see if you're awake. I'm getting lots of people who are looking at me like I'm crazy there in the chat. Right, let's try again. 2 times 20 is 40. Apologies. 40. Yes. Okay, well done. 2 times 10 is 2 times 20 is 40, and 40 minus 3 is 37. Sorry, guys. Just testing you to see if you're awake. Just testing. Just testing. All right. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a chance now to go try the next table for me. So B. Okay, and I'm going to answer some questions if anybody has a question. Okay, so I'm going to answer some questions and see if anybody has some questions. So I see that Grace's hand is up. So I see Grace's hand is up. Grace, what is your question?
Hello, Miss, and hello, everyone. My question is, how did you get the answer 37?
How did I get 37? I made a mistake there, hey, Grace. So I needed to say, instead of seeing X, I was going to see 20. Okay, 2 times by
Yes.
20 gives me 40, and 40 minus 3 gives me 37.
37. Yes, Miss.
Okay, does it
Okay,
make
I
sense?
understand. Yes, it does
Good.
make sense. Thank you,
Nice. Well
ma'am.
done. You're welcome, Grace. Okay, I see I've got Alunga. Alunga, what's your question? Okay, I think maybe Alunga might be having some problems with their speaker. I will come back to them. Okay. Amoma? Amo? Do you want to unmute for me, Amo, and ask your question? Amo, you should be able to unmute. Do you want to ask me your question? Okay, Shakina, what's your question? Hi.
Ma'am, I just wanted to ask you if you have the outputs, how do you get the inputs?
So there's one way that you can do it. Either you can solve the equation. If you've learned how to do that in school already, that's fine. But the other way to do it is to do it by a process of elimination. So I knew for this one, okay, Shakina, is I said to myself, all right, I'm just going to go back here quickly. So my equation was y is equal to 2x minus 3. Okay. And I said to myself, in order to get that, I needed to have 17 was equal to 2x minus 3. So I definitely knew that x wasn't equal to 4. Okay. So I went and tried x equal to 5. So I did that first.
Hi,
okay.
Yes,
all right. Okay. So first I tried x equal to 5. And when I said x equals 5, I said 2 times 5 is 10 and 10 minus 3. That didn't work. So then I went up a bit higher. All right. Then I went up a bit higher. Okay. So I said to myself, let's go up to 7. 2 times 7 is 14. And 14 minus 3 gives me 11. So that also doesn't work, eh?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then I said to myself, let's try another number. Let's go try 10. So I said 2 times 10 is 20. And 20 minus 3 is 17. Okay, so it was kind of like a process of elimination.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am, very.
Okay, good. Thanks so much, Shakina. All right, guys. So we're going to have a look at the next section, okay? So I will give you some more time a little bit later to ask some questions. Please also put your questions in the chat. Mr. Hugo will also answer any questions that he can in the chat. Okay, so let's go have a look at B. So for B now, all right, let's see if you got the right answers. So first of all, they're telling me x is equal to 0. So I say negative 5 times by 0 is 0, plus 1 gives me 1. Negative 5 times by 1 is negative 5, and negative 5 plus 1 gives me negative 4. Okay, negative 5 times by 2 is negative 10, and negative 10 plus 1 gives me negative 9. Negative 5 times by 3 gives me negative 15, and negative 15 plus 1 will give me negative 14. Okay, negative 5 times by 4 is negative 20, all right? And negative 20 plus 1 is negative 19. Negative 5 times by 10 is negative 50, and negative 50 plus 1 gives me negative 49. Okay, so I hope that you guys were successful with those. I hope that those were good. Let's go have a look at what happens if I've got negative 149 as my outputs. So if I have negative 149 is equal to negative 5x plus 1. So I know that my x value must be greater than 10. I definitely know that. And negative 149 is quite a high number. I'm sure that you agree with me. So let's go and try our trial and error method. Let's go try our trial and error method that we've done before. So I know it's definitely higher than 10. Let's go try 20. So if I had to say negative 5 times by 20, negative 5 times by 20, right? So we're starting with 20 here. Negative 5 times by 20 would give me negative 100. And negative 100 plus 1 gives me negative 99. So definitely not 20. Needs to be bigger, hey? Needs to be a bit bigger. What happens if I had to make it 50? Let's go try 50. So negative 5 times by 50, negative 5 times by 50 gives me negative 150. And negative 150 plus 1, ding, 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 does that give me negative 149? Yes, it does. So this needs to be 50. Right. So we're going to use our trial and error method this year in grade 7. Next year in grade 8, we will learn how to solve some equations. All right. I'm going to shuffle this down for you guys so that you can go try C for me in the meantime. While you're trying C, I'm going to answer some of the questions that I see here on my screen. So let's go. Samu, what's your question?
Ma'am, I don't understand B, ma'am, the table for B number 1, ma'am.
Number 1. Okay, let's go try it, Samu. Let's try it together. All right. So, Samu, I've got y is equal to negative 5 times by x plus 1. Are you happy with the table so far, the equation? Samu, you with me? Okay, I think someone's still with me. I'm going to carry on. So that's my equation, guys. Okay, so now what I'm going to go say is instead of seeing x for the first one, I'm going to go say it's 0. So I've got y is equal to negative 5 times by 0 plus 1. Well, we know anything times by 0 gives me 0, okay? And 0 plus 1 is going to give me 1. All right, let's do another one. Let's go try this one over here. Okay, let's go try when x is equal to 3, guys. So y is equal to negative 5 times by 3 plus 1. Well, Samuel, remember that when you have a positive times a negative, okay, positive number times a negative number, your answer is always going to be negative, right? And 5 times by 3 gives me 15. And then I've got to say plus 1. Now, if you're still not sure, guys, about your integers, what do you need to go do? You know, what's my favorite thing? What do I always tell you when you have negative numbers and you're adding, you're subtracting? Go and draw a number line. Okay, go draw a number line. Negative 15 plus 1 is going to give you negative 14. So negative 14. All right. I am just going to remind you guys that if you are sending me private messages in the chat, unfortunately, I cannot see those. If you do have a question, please raise your hand and I will try to get to it. Otherwise, you can send a message to Mr. Hugo. Okay, some of you are welcome. All right, let's try one more question here. So, Mose, how can I help you? You should be able to unmute yourself. You are unmuted. What's your question? Mose? Okay. I don't think Mose is available. All right. Uma? Uma, you should be able to unmute yourself. What's your question?
Hello. Miss,
Hi.
I don't understand how we got 30 from negative 149.
Okay, I agree. It's a tough one. It is a tough one. Let's do it together. Okay, so let's do it together. All right. So my sum is y is equal to negative 5x plus 1. Hey, happy with that?
Yes, Miss.
All right. So now, instead of seeing y, I'm going to see negative 149 is equal to negative 5x plus 1.
Yes, Miss.
All right. I am saying to you guys that you are going to do trial and error to do this. Some of you might have done solving equations at school in grade 7, but it's not really on your syllabus, so it's a bit tricky to say to everybody that you must solve the equation. So I'm going to do it with trial and error, okay? Do you agree, okay, Uma, that x must definitely be greater than 10, okay?
Yes, Miss.
Okay, so you agree it must be greater than 10. Cool, I agree as well. All right. So shall we go try and see what happens if we make x 20 first? Oh, I need to sneeze. Sorry. Okay, so let's make x 20, Amma. So negative 5 times 20. What's negative 5 times by 20 going to be?
Negative 100.
Negative 100. Good. And negative 100 plus 1?
Negative 100. Negative 99.
Good. Negative 99. So we know that this is not going to work, hey? Do you agree?
Yes, Miss.
So we need to go bigger, hey?
Yes.
So let's go bigger. Let's go try 30. Could you do numbers in between, Omar? Could you go try like 21, 25, 20? Could you go try all those numbers?
Yes.
You could, hey? But we kind of know it needs to be quite big, so we go try 30. So negative 5 times by 30 gives me negative 150. And negative 150 plus 1 will give me negative 149.
Yes.
Does it make sense?
Yes, Miss.
Okay, good. Thanks, Umar, for your question.
No problem.
All right, guys. So let us have a look at C. Let's have a look at C, and then I will answer some more questions. Please make sure you're also asking your questions in the chat. Mr. Hugo is also going to be helping you there. Okay. Let's have a look at C, everybody. Right. So in C, what did we have in C? So let's go work it out. We have 3 times 0 gives me 0, plus 2 gives me 2. Okay. 3 times 1 is 3, and 3 plus 2 gives me 5. Then you should have had 8. Then you should have had 11. And then you should have had 14. Okay. Right. Now it's time to try our process of elimination. So our trial and error. Our trial and error questions. Let's give ourselves some space here on the top. So we're saying that 26 is going to be equal to 3 times by x plus 2. So we're saying to ourselves 3 times by what plus 2 will give me 26. Well, would it be fair to say, everybody, that this number is definitely going to fall between 4 and 10? Because if we look at the blocks, we see that it's in between those two numbers. So our x value is going to fall between 4 and 10. So that's the first thing. We know it's going to fall between 4 and 10. So let's go try some trial and error. So firstly, let's go all the way up to 6 and try 6. 3 times 6 is 18, and 18 plus 2 will give me 20. So I know that 6 is not going to work. Let's go try 8. 3 times 8 is 24, and 24 plus 2, ding, 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 ding. That will give me 26. Okay, and my final one, I've got 10. So I've got 3 times 10 is 30, and 30 plus 2 gives me 32. 32. Okay. All right, so I'm going to move the screen up for you guys so you can go try D for me in the meantime. While you're trying D, I'm going to answer any questions that people may have. I'm going to remind you again, please make sure that you're also asking the questions in the chat, just in case I don't get to your question, and Mr. Hugo can also help you. So I see Mose is still here. You should be able to unmute yourself. Do you still have a question? Mose, do you have a question? All right, Mose, I'm thinking maybe that your speaker might not be working, so I will come back to you. All right, Mawande?
Hello,
Mawande,
ma'am.
what's your question? Hi, how can I help?
Ma'am, I don't get ma'am the 21 and the 26 one, ma'am.
Okay, let's go have a look. Let's go have a look at how we did it. So, do you agree with me, Mawande? Okay, do you agree with me that it will definitely fall between 4 and 10, the number, hey?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I know that I'm going to have to choose numbers that are between 4 and 10.
10.
So if I wanted to, could I really go and put all the numbers in and try?
Yes,
I
ma'am.
could go say 3 times 5 is 15, and 15 plus 2 is 17. Nah, that doesn't work. Then I go try 6. 3 times 6 is 18, and 18 plus 2 is 20. Nah, doesn't work. I could go try 7. 3 times 7 is 21, and 21 plus 2 is 23, so that one doesn't work. 3 times 8 is 24, and 24 plus 2, does that work? Yes, it does. Does that make sense, how we use trial and error?
Yes, ma'am, I see, ma'am.
Okay, good, well done. Thank you for the question. All right, Jonathan, can I answer your question? Jonathan, you're unmuted. What is your question? Okay, Jonathan, I do not hear you, so I'm going to put you back there. All right, I do have somebody in the chat who keeps on messaging me. Mile Kushle, you need to put your hand up so that I can ask you to unmute. So Mile Kushle, you need to please put your hand up, and then I can answer your question, but there we go. Nope, you keep on coming up and then disappearing again. So you're going to have to maybe send Mr. Hugo a question. There we go. All right, Melakushle, what is your question? Melakushle, you are unmuted. What is your question? Okay, Melakushle, I can't seem to hear you, so you're going to have to put your question in the chat, please, in the general chat, or to Mr. Hugo. Right, Janet, do you have a question for me? Hi, Janet. No, Janet seems, oh, there we go. Back again. Janet, do you have a question still?
Yes, miss. I did not really understand C. Could you please explain that to me again, please?
Sure. Janet, the whole of C, or just one certain question? Which one would you like?
The last part, the one with the 32.
The 32, no problem. Sure, of course. Okay, so Janet, I have got my equation, which is y is equal to 3x plus 2. So instead of seeing x, I'm going to go and see 10, hey? So I've got 3 times by 10 plus 2. So 3 times 10 gives me 30, and 30 plus 2 will give me 32. Does that make sense?
Thank you. Yes, it does.
You're welcome, no problem. All right, so let's go have a look at how you guys did with D. You had to fill in the missing numbers, okay? You had to fill in the missing numbers, all right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put down everybody's hands. Okay, so let's put down everybody's hands if that's possible. All right, I will allow you to pick your hands up a bit later. All right, so now, is there anybody who would like to help me to do D? So raise your hand if you're ready to help me to do D. So Amar, you were up there first. Let's go, Amar. Let's help me fill in D. What were your answers, Amar?
Miss, 9 times 0 is equals to 0, and 0 minus 9 equals to -9.
Fantastic, Amar. Next one.
-9, 9 times 1 equals 9, and 9 minus 9 equals 0.
Good. Next one.
9 times 2 equals 18. 18 minus 9 equals 9.
Fantastic, Amar. So you carry on going. Tell me what your answers were for the next 3.
18,
Good.
27,
Good. And this one was a trick one. Tell me what this one was.
54.
54. Fantastic. Well done, Amar. Nice. All right. Well done. You're amazing. Okay. Amar, did you work out what the X value would be?
Yes, miss.
Okay. Tell me how you did it, Amar.
Miss, I said 9 times 11 equals 99, minus 9 equals 90.
Well done, Amar. So you said 11, hey? Amazing.
Yes.
Well done. And let's do the last one together.
9 times 20 equals 180, and 180 minus 9 is equals to 171.
You're amazing. Well done, Amar. Congratulations. Is this easy?
Yeah.
Good. Well done. Okay. So thank you to Amar for helping me out there. I'm going to move it down the screen down a little bit so you guys can carry on practicing for number E. This is the last table that we're going to try tonight. If you have a if we have a question for table D, you may raise your hand now and I will help you with table D's questions. But in the meantime, I'd like you to go try E. Okay, so Christian, how can I help?
How did it the last one when you
Yeah.
got 20?
How do we get 20? This last one.
I mean, how did we get 171?
No problem. Let's have a look. Let's do it together. So we said y is equal to 9
Right?
times by 20
Times.
minus 9, hey?
Yes, ma'am.
So what's 9 times 20?
9 times 20, ma'am.
It's a tricky one, hey?
180.
Nice. 180. And what's 180 minus 9?
Oh, it's
Ah,
171.
nice.
I
Well
understand.
done. Good. Well done. Cool. Thank you so much, Christian. Okay, Jonathan, do you have a question for me? Jonathan, do you have a question?
Yes, I just want to ask that I'm just confused. Just trying to understand what we're trying to do here. What are we like? What are we doing?
So what we're doing, Jonathan, is we're taking our input values and we're trying to work out what the output would be. All right.
Okay.
So if
yeah.
x was equal to 0, what would the output be? So instead of seeing x, we're going to see 0 for the first one. So we say 9 times by 0 gives me 0, and 0 minus 9 would give me negative 9. Does that make sense, Jonathan?
Yes, thank you, Miss. Understand.
You're welcome. No problem. Okay, so if there's anybody who wants to help me out with E, now is the time to put up your hand. All right, I see one person's already got their hand up. You don't have a name. Okay, the person's got their hand down now. All right, Mwande, are you going to help me with E? Mwande? I can't hear you, Mwande. Can you hear me? Okay, are you going to help me answer E, Mwande? Okay, unfortunately, I don't know why, I can't hear your sound. I'm not sure why. I don't know if your speaker's maybe not working, because I did hear you earlier on. I'm really sorry. Do you want to maybe try again? Try once more? Okay. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be working, Mwande. I'm really sorry, but well done for getting the answers. Maybe put them in the chat and you can send them through to us. All right. I've got Lottie. Lottie, do you want to help me with the answers? Is it Lottie or Iati? You are unmuted. Hello, can you hear me? All right, that person also doesn't seem to be there. Right, let's go try Zawande. Zawande, do you want to help me with the answers for E?
No, Miss, I can't understand the last one.
Okay.
This one, number D.
What don't you understand about the last one?
Miss, I can't understand how you calculated to get the answer.
Sorry, say it for me again. You don't understand how I got that?
How you calculate to get the answer.
Okay. So if we have a look at the first one, so I'm going to do it once more with you. I have explained it already, but I'm going to do it once more with you. So if we had to look at X's, I'm just going to mute you because there's quite a bit of feedback coming back from you. All right, so I'm going to do it once more for Zawande. So if I've got y, oh dear, y is equal to 9 times by 2 minus 9. Well, 9 times 2 gives me 18, and 18 minus 9 will give me 9. So it's the same as what we were doing before. It's exactly the same. All right. Let's go Mavio.
Sorry, ma'am.
Yes. Are you ready to help me answer E?
Ma'am?
Yes.
I also don't understand number 20, the D one.
Okay. Did you have a look at when I redid it again? Were you watching?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
But
so
ma'am, I still don't understand it.
Okay. So let's go have a look. So you're going to say y is equal to 9 times by 20,
9.
hey?
Yes, ma'am.
Minus 9. Right. What's 9 times 20?
It's 9 times 20 is 0, ma'am.
No, definitely not, hey? So we can go say 20 times by 9 here on the side. 9 times 0 gives me 0, yes. 9 times 2 gives me 18. So 9 times 20 is 180.
T.
Okay, so now we say 180 minus 9 gives me 171.
1.
Right.
Oh, okay. Now I understand, ma'am.
No problem. All right, guys, I'm going to go do E for us because we're running a little bit short on time. So for our first one, we're going to get 20. Then we're going to have 10. Then we are going to have 0. Okay. Then we are going to have negative 10. Then you would have negative 20. All right. For my one with 10, you would have negative 10 times 10 is negative 100. Plus 20, you would have negative 80. Okay, I hope you got all of those ones so far. All right, then I've got to work out what my x value is. So to work out what my x value is, I have to go and do my trial and error. And when I do my trial and error, I get 14. And finally, for my last one, negative 10 times by 100 is negative 1,000. And negative 1,000 plus 20 will give me negative 980. Okay, negative 980.